You mentioned that you spoke with the mother of one of the victims. How did she feel about you writing this book?
She was actually really thrilled to have the story told. You know, it was an interesting thing to try to balance. Like, I have these victims' families who I've talked to, who I have tremendous empathy for, and you know, they were the victims of horrible tragedies.
Right.
There's somebody dead, and then there's families who are ruined,
right.
essentially. You know, but then there's also like these cops who have done a really remarkable job digging into it, and then there's the organization itself and the kingpins and 150 players who were involved, and you know, it's like I don't want anybody to be unhappy with the final product. Like I want to do justice to all sides.
So what makes Big Meech's story different from any other gangster or whatever you would want to call that type of persona? What makes his story special or different?
Well, there's a couple things. You know, there's also a couple cliches. You have these guys, two brothers. They came up from Detroit. They were, you know, were basically, you know, lived in a very tight-knit family, but a very poor family who struggled tremendously. So, you know, they had this rise to power, like literally from going to selling like bags of crack on the corner to somehow managing to get high enough in the game to be introduced to a Mexican source, or you know, source who could get a direct line of cocaine from Mexico. We're talking vast quantities of cocaine. You know,
and there's also the part in the book that mentions how, you know, the quantities were getting doubled and profits were also doubling. So it seems like they had a really thriving operation going.
They had a huge operation, like moving lots and lots of bricks of cocaine. They were not. By that point, they were not street-level dealers at all. They were the top-notch distributors in several major cities. But you know, then you have the dynamic between his two brothers, which was very interesting. Meech being a very flashy brother who's out in the clubs, and he creates this record label called BMF Entertainment and Promotion Company. And so that's what a lot of people in Atlanta knew BMF to be, and it's like, wow. But then there was also the rumors of them being drug kingpins, and that was really surprising to people that somebody would be promoting themselves, doing promotional videos, putting up billboards in Atlanta.
That
but
was
at the same time, be drug dealers, suspected, not even drug dealers, drug distributors. You know, that was puzzling. So I think that was really interesting. And there's
probably part of their mystique as well in Atlanta. I think that was definitely part of it. Have you had any resistance from his family, from anybody about the book? What have people thought about? Has he gotten to read the book, and what did he have to say about it?
I did send him a copy of the book, and he read it. I had interviewed him in advance of the book coming out. Not for the articles, because at that point he was still awaiting a resolution in his case. But the resolution came. He was willing to talk to me. I had wanted to talk to him all along, obviously. So yeah, I talked to him before, and then the book came out. I sent him a copy. I think he was pleased with the book, and then I heard that a lot of cops were pleased with the book, and I heard that the families were pleased with it. So I feel like at least
you did a fair job to every character.
And that was my hope.
I think what makes it really interesting to a reader, such as myself, is this is a place that I'm really familiar with, is Atlanta. I've lived here for a long time, and so reading a book that touches so much in the heart of the city that you live in, and being able to identify those places with the characters almost now taking on a different personality, it's a really interesting book. What is it that you would like people to come away from this with?
You know, I mean, some people would read it as a morality tale, and again, I was trying to play it very straight. I didn't want to glamorize, I didn't want to vilify, you know, I just wanted to, like, it's literally a retelling. But I think there's a lot of insights into not just like Atlanta and sort of how Atlanta operates, but also like how, you know, the drug game works on that higher level. And I think that anybody who's interested in sort of the economics of the drug trade, or just sort of how these guys in a very behind the scenes kind of way changed Atlanta in very profound ways. So I think that's kind of what I hope people will read into it, is like the tremendous amount of influence they wielded in the national drug game, but also in the city.
I definitely agree. I mean, it's definitely a good read. It was easy to read from page to page. I haven't got to quite the end, but so far so good. I think I have one chapter left. Right now we're awaiting sentencing. So,